preach. So you can get what we had here last week, which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it. I don't like him any more than you do.
Destroy everything in his way. By doing this, he could cut off Lee's supply to Virginia and perhaps shorten the war by many months and years.
Hi, I'm Danny Corbin, and this is Bruce. We'll be taking you along on Sherman's march. Sherman made an impact in the South by destroying and pillaging everything, such as the house behind me. Ooh. In the following film, you will see live footage of Sherman's march and live interviews with various people throughout the war.
Before getting started, we felt you should know some background on Sherman. So here it is.
I'm at the house of William Tecumseh Sherman's foster father, Thomas Ewing. Thomas, can you tell us a little bit about Sherman's birth?
Well, William was born on February 8, 1820 in Lancaster, Ohio.
I hear he was named something different at birth. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Dad named him Tecumseh because he admired the Indian chief.
You're his foster father, right?
Yes. When the boy was 9, his daddy died, and me and my wife adopted him and taken care of him ever since.
So, what kind of military training did Sherman get?
Well, I got him into the U.S. Military Academy. In 1840, he graduated 6th in his class. Pretty good student.
Well, thank you very much, Thomas, for this interview.
No problem.
Encampment in front of in Georgia right now. I'm going to try and get an interview with General Grant. General Grant, can I get an interview with you?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Could you tell me how Sherman was in battle before being assigned to you?
Yeah, when Fort Sumter was fired upon, Lincoln sent 75,000 troops over there and sent Sherman down there to be a colonel, but he wasn't ready. He was nervous and delusional, and they pretty easily lost to the Reds.
How did it come about that he was assigned to you?
Henry W. Halleck saw his special skill in military tactics and assigned him underneath me.
Well, how did you two work together?
We became pretty good friends, and he ran some campaigns under me, which one of them led to the siege of Vicksburg.
In March 1864, you were assigned the commander of all the Union Army. What did you assign Sherman to?
I put him in charge of the Union Army in the South. He ran some campaigns that parallel my drive to Virginia.
Well, thank you, General Grant.
Yep.
Hey, soldier guy.
Hey!
What's that you're writing?
Oh, it's about how I lectured a Georgia woman. I told her, you young men to the battlefield while you stay at home and sing the Bonnie Blue Flag. But you set up a howl when you see the Yanks down there getting your chickens. Many of your young men have told us that they are tired of war and would quit, but you women would shame them and drive them back. I will tell you what she said, but it ain't very nice. Thank you.
Sherman, I'd like to thank you for giving us this time to speak with you.
Yep.
General Sherman, I'd like to ask you about battle strategies you've employed in your march to D.C. so far. Started out with 99,000 men in Chattanooga. Was it already decided that you would burn Atlanta? And if so, what was your strategy to do that?
My objective was to occupy Atlanta, as you have stated. I thought that if we seized Atlanta like Grant did Vicksburg, we would make short work of Atlanta. As you know, things changed when we arrived.
Yes, we know about the burning of Atlanta, but would you explain your strategy behind it?
Of course, I knew that Atlanta was the heart of the South. I also knew that it was a major railroad city. I thought we could siege it, but because of the railroad, we decided to demolish the city and burn part of it. We only wanted to burn the railroad stations. But once people saw what we were doing, they started burning their own cities. The railroads were then taken care of by TNT.
You and your men captured Atlanta. What were your orders?
Well, Grant decided that we should march from Georgia to Savannah. So I sent out 2 corps to finish Hood, and I kept 4 corps to march to Savannah. That is about 60,000 men, which are now with us.
Well, thank you, General Sherman. And now we're going to go to Graham's Canary, and he's going to show us the path that Sherman took on his march to the sea.
Started in Atlanta, where he formed 2 parallel lines, pillaging and burning until he got to Savannah. He then gave Savannah to President Lincoln as a Christmas present. From then, he went up to South Carolina, pillaging and burning until the end of the war.
We're here with General Geary. General Geary, what was Sherman's objective in sending you out from his group?
Well, I was supposed to burn wagons and railroad bridges so it would cut supplies off in the South, especially Madison, Georgia, and Virginia. While I was down there, I burned a water tower, 500 bales of cotton, ferry boats, and a whole bunch of acres of corn.
Why is that?
Lee needed them, so I destroyed them.
Okay, and now a word from our commercials.
Whoa, girl. Howdy, folks. Have you heard about the Feed of Champions? Well, if you haven't, we're here to show you today what you've been missing. Joe here is feeding a bucket of bleeding cow feed to this here cow. Has this ever happened to you? Well, at the Feed of Champions, you can save yourself a lot of bruises and a lot of clothes. Our natural blend of corn and minerals and a touch of a special ingredient makes any cow as tame as a puppy. The Feed of Champions will make those smelly cow patties smell as fresh as a flower. So come on down to Rancher Sam's and pick up a grade A bag of Feed of Champions.
Hello, I'm here at one of the plantations that General Sherman has taken. General Sherman, can you tell us a little bit about what your men have done on this march?
I'm glad you asked that. The men under my command have destroyed railroads, factories, cotton fields, cotton gins, cities, crops, livestock, and anything of value to the South. We have had small skirmishes, but the Confederates are very weak in this part of the Confederate States. The only people we meet are women, old people, children, and slaves.
How fast are you moving at the present time, General Sherman?
At the present time, we are going about 10 miles a day.
It must be hard to find food for these hard-working guys.
Not really. We just confiscate food from houses and are sent supplies as needed.
We have a soldier on the battlefield to show us one of the pillaging techniques that they use. Sherman used to forage for food.
Sherman would send out some soldiers, and when they found a plantation, the first thing they would do was to be search for Confederate soldiers. Usually they wouldn't find them, but if they did, they would kill them immediately. Then they would post guards around the plantation to protect against ambushes. Then a couple of the men would take all of their items they needed. If there was anything left, like animals or crops, they would kill or burn them. They would even take kitchen sinks or women to cook their food if they were needed.